holy. Quadash. Sacred, holy, holy one, saint, set apart, right? And so is latter days, this idea of setting ourselves apart, rebuilding the tabernacle of David and setting ourselves apart from all of the other nations, but in particular the nation of Edom, where we were prophesied to serve out our final captivity. 2 Corinthians 6 and 14, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness? Right, so this idea of being connected in any way to unbelievers, whether that's the heathen nations or the 2/3 of the nation of Israel that aren't going to repent and return back unto the Most High. Verse 15, and what concord hath Christ with Belial, or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement hath the temple of the Most High with idols? For ye are the temple of the living power, as Yahawah hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Wherefore come out from among men, and be ye separate, saith the Most High, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. So even is something that seems as innocuous as entertainment, that it's from Esau Edom, we should be avoiding it in all ways, and when we should be looking to the scriptures to fulfill those needs, looking to the scriptures, looking to the Most High, and in prayer, which honestly, we all have our different paths and walks, but for me, again, like, this is a particularly tough one, right? If you're you just want to unwind and relax, or you're bored and you want anything to entertain you, that not falling into sort of this culture trap, but keeping essentially your mind pure, and not relying on this kingdom to the extent possible in any way, in particular, again, to entertain. 1 Corinthians 7 and 31, and they that use the world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. Let me actually take it up further. Chapter 7, 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and 29. But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none. Right? So that's very clear. In particular, wives, attachments to this world, and they that weep as though they weep not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possessed not. So again, not looking to possessions among other things is a path or a method for fulfillment. One of the things that I enjoy, had enjoyed, I guess still do, but I'm trying to rely less on it, right, is comics or superheroes and superpowers, and sort of reading stories about those. The irony is, all of that, those really great stories, or those really fantastic storytelling comes from the scriptures. One of the interesting things that I noticed was that the better I understood the scriptures, actually having read the Bible, I began to see that it was actually that story, or collection of stories, right, that elements of those were taken to make some of the greatest comics or modern day stories about superheroes, whether that's something like the fighting scenes or the powers that were being used, to just the nature of relationships, the quote unquote good guys versus the bad guys. spiritual powers in particular, whether that's telekinesis or firepower. Posted up some information about those in my site here, HebrewIsraeliteResearchCenter.org. I've kind of set this one aside. Spiritual powers, telekinesis, always one of my favorite. It's one we know from the X-Men, in particular Jean Grey. I think the clip of Jean Grey, unfortunately, looks like the link went sour here. But an example of this you can see from the movie Chronicle that I have linked to over here. So the irony is that all of the great, stories or forms of entertainment that people enjoy in this kingdom now are actually derived from our history, which is in the scriptures. So wanted to do a lesson on that. Speaking to myself as much as anyone else that finds this relevant. But let me know what you think, or if you have kind of any further thoughts on this in the comments down below. Looking forward to seeing you in the next lesson. Shalom.